いやー、LCK はね、居酒屋見てるおっちゃんみたいになりますって。もう、やべえんだもん、こう一個が。俺もちょっとロール上手くなった気になれるっていうのが、LCK。あ、なんか俺もこのプレイできそうな気がする。See the Sivir is gone for T1. They are not willing to play into that one here. And this Nautilus ban just continues to be the third choice for Damwon Kia. I think there's a lot of bans. Better options here. Take away if they want to. Brave open. First pick Renekton. First. Oh, Renekton から。They will not change the style. 大丈夫だ。俺にレネクトンさせとけっつって。俺はバードルとは違うっつって。任しとけ。これスーパーキャリーだ。Because we even have, like, are we watching the draft from, well, actually, no, because Renato was banned first on red side by 2-1 in game 2. But it is still the same bans and the same picks that are coming through here. Looks like a little bit of a salty run back. This is not the first time we've seen a salty run back here in the LCK playoffs. Remember yesterday, Live Sandbox ran their comp back, but banned the Renata, and it looked completely different. I don't think there is a option you could take here as Damwon Kia to feel way better. Now you could ban the Sylas away or the Gnar. I think the Sylas is definitely the one I would be leaning if I were Danny on stage here to change up how these combos comes into mid. But this does not inspire confidence at this stage because you can avoid some of the picks of T1, but you won't be able to change your player's form. You can change form by completely subbing him out, but Canyon will have to play much better around top side if the drafts look the same. As we do see the Gnar still available, they take away the Sylas instead. Yep, it's a Sylas ban instead of an Azir, so that is the first change up here. And could be both. Yeah, could just go for that, and maybe Zeus pulls out the Aatrox, which was the second ban on the red phase, or Azir second phase, I should say, for the blue team, actually. I really worry if they give this a 0 over, especially considering the Ahri is gone. To recommend they ban it, and they do. Sandra, LeBron Fuji. This is how these drafts have looked. T1 have been so ready for every possible scenario. There's no deliberation. There's no consideration. It's just like, no, I'm gonna play this. なんだ、ミッドなんだ、照明か。ジャングルは倍がいる。ミッドなんだこれ難しいぞミッド。お、プロテクトブレイブ。ミッドモルガナでもいいんじゃないこの構成。ジャングルミッドモルガナありじゃないめっちゃ刺さってるけど。なんだ、ミッドなんだ、ヨネなんだこれマジ難しい。おおミッドレネクトン確かにあり。これはめちゃくちゃいいね。めちゃくちゃいい。あ、スインに変えた。まあでも際どいな。スインだとワンチャン主導権取れない可能性がある。そう、エイトロックスはバンしてたんだよね。This one. And yeah, really doubling down here for T1. Not Sylas, but it's Lysandra. A little bit of longer engage and potentially harder engage, depending on, which ultimate Sylas was able to steal. Yeah. The Aatrox also very all-in, has to be in range to actually do damage. A bit different from the Gnar, who has a bit of back and forth.アムムでもリサンドラでもウーコンでもエイトロックスでも前に出てきたやつダークバインドで止める。 浮いたやつを止めて、手前からツインがゾーニングして、レネクトンもゾーニング役割。ドレイブンにキルを集める構成。
Starting bottom side here, of course, on the 2v2, so this is not going to hit anything. We'll spot out the invade. It's going to be Canyon starting the blue buff. It's Morgana. And for T1 here, they have, I mean, there's too much CC to this.
あのキャラクター俺全然わかんないんだよね。
You did once. I did once. Well, I said the champions' names.
Yeah.
But each champion has like some extra forms. Mumu's got two, you know, Faker's got two. I'm not going to go all the way, but level 1, definitely where Duck Dom is going to get a lot of power here. We talked about this last time around. Mumu wants to be able to use Bandage Toss, but Braum kind of shuts that down, so great response here. We'll have a bad time if you try to counter-engage as T1, so let's let this wave push through. Similar start to the game as we had in Game 1. We'll see if Duck Dom can play a game where obviously Guma doesn't get 2 kills early and have a little bit more impact, you know, in fights, because he was not really there every single time. The fights were very disjointed for Damwon. And we usually don't make these sorts of comparisons of what happened last game to the next game all too often, but when the drafts are this similar, kind of have to.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Morgana jungle coming out here once again. Not sure how much this is really being played in other regions, but we've seen it 3 times now in the jungle in the LCK, as might have to hold the point about the Morgana jungle because Owner is getting in the face of the Morgana jungle. Really looking for a play here onto Canyon more than anything else. Expecting the red buff
我慢比べ負けたおな。
at the wrong time. Well, I say wrong. Wrong maybe for going onto Canyon, but maybe exactly right for going into the bottom lane as now the engage comes in onto Kellen here. The ignite already put on, and you can see with the red buff, Kellen is just fresh meat. And down he will go. That is first blood to Owner already.
And this is the kind of setup for a smart jungle pathing. Like, this is the kind of setup you see from players like Peanut, like Owner, where you leave yourself a back door. You are both threatening the Morgana, but you have a way to say, if Morgana doesn't show here, doesn't come over to red buff, and I'm not going to be able to look for an advantage there, I can then also back off and take an advantage against the enemies, the enemy 2v2 who is pushed up. The enemy bot laners are exposed, so I have 2 real strong angles here at the same time, and by not seeing the Morgana there, not going on her, he is able to correctly identify that she's not going to be on the bottom side, or she's going to give up her red buff. So if he comes over there and Morgana took a different path to the bottom side, he walks away, loses a little bit, but in like the game theory of this, he's basically 66% chance the gank is successful, right? And
yeah,
it was a really smart play from him, and that's a lead to the bottom side already. Mostly his lead, but still, you know, it's going to push back the enemy Braum, gives him a little more lane control. It's not going to be sitting under turret this time around for Gumakaria.
Yeah, definitely relieves a nice amount of pressure. Guma, for now, alone. Keria was going on a little bit of a walk down towards that mid lane, but it didn't amount to much. You guys saw that the win rate for Renekton into Aatrox is actually pretty good in the LCK. We'll see if Nuggery, who has quite a strong win rate himself on the pick, can extend that in that top lane, which for now is going to be heavily prioritized towards the Renekton.
Yeah.
サンドラもインファイト強いけど、スインの Q のスキルの回転考えると、インファイトはスインに具があるね。
The ability to get prio control definitely feels pretty good for him in this matchup, but it's all about how you play it. It's a very skill-based matchup.
スキルの回転率が違いすぎる。
Faker just showing his claw. Commit any further. Basically, like you could hear him do it. Like you see on his player cam, that's fake old footage. He actually stuck his hand up and made a claw-like motion.
Definitely.
That you guys could hear Valdez doing as well.
No question.
So it's a very slow early game outside of that bottom pick. And, you know, the ways that this game goes Damwon Kia's favor, I think, are really just defensive turns. So getting prio early is huge. This is not the trade you want.
Yeah, right as Zeus is hitting level 6 as well, so gotta be careful about that one, Nuggery. He finally hits level 6 himself. Probably calculating that for why he was getting aggressive there. Nuggery, a very aggressive player, as now he will go in with the dominance. Does not care about the World Ender, but Zeus is going in. A heavy trade that looks to be in favor of Nuguri for the moment as Zeus is trying to get those cooldowns back.
よね。
Follow up will be there and Zeus will have to back and teleport to this lane.
これがノグリだと。これがノグリだと。これがノグリなんですわ。さすが。
Despite the world ender coming out, just having that extra health with Doran shield on the Aatrox. Gonna feel good about the damage.
Faker, nice movement there. He is going to get binded though, so no follow-up. Swain, definitely can absorb a lot, but at level 6, his ultimate is, it's good, but it's not really going to keep him alive through everything. So potential all-in with Ignite here taken for Faker with his unsealed spellbook. Could have definitely done him in.
Yeah, look at the pathing here too for Canyon right now after Zeus did use his World Ender. Kind of up towards the top side, definitely could be looking to make a play here as the wave pushes back through. And look at the first buys for Nuguri. Grabs Executioner calling, so has that extra heal deny plus the whip here. So a lot of damage. It's actually Owner who comes up first here. And it looks like Nuguri's reading the play really well. Doesn't want to send Canyon up here, making the call to go elsewhere. And this is the best start, I would argue, pretty strongly for all 3 games here for Damwon Kia. No errors, no mistakes. Comp is going according to plan with air quotes so far here. Bottom prio, top side control, pretty nice. And mid it going swimmingly for the early game for Swain. And here's that Morgana rotation top. A little bit late this time, but they will have the better setup for the Herald as a result. Is Guma pinned down? Keria going to try to sneak away, maybe come over and make an impact there. But the timing, not so great here for T1. No level 6 for Owner either. Well, he's about to get it.
Should be getting it off of these Raptors. There it is. Just enough Raptors.
トットレーン大事だから。
Now he is in position with Faker, who is going to get in here first, but the binding is good on to T1's jungler. Now the follow-up fight, they're going to try to burst down Faker, but he immediately goes into that ult, and then Owner's going to be followed up on, and that's a double kill already for Nuguri. In this top river, they get the Rift Herald as well. Very
ノグオジ頼りになるね。マジで。マジで。もう全然違う。
Faker here because they're like, okay, he's actually the one who's vulnerable. Owner wants to go in with a Cyclone. They bind Owner, so they buy a few extra seconds there. Then they make that collapse happen. And, with the damage that Renekton has at this stage in the game, it's quite massive. He picks up 2 kills. And this topside matchup, which was already looking pretty good for him in the early parts of it, is now going to be so much more comfortable. Bottom side, again, very self-explanatory here in terms of the Draven lane. This Keria we did see is going to try to take the Scuttle. But look at the decisive way in which Damwon Kia play this out. Draven ult comes through, but Nuguri just instantly comes in and deletes him. And with the binding there, the Cyclone is not going to be able to stop the collapse. One more time. This is a Nuguri call. Well, yep, he does call for it, I was going to say. And he just comes in, takes out the Lissandra. It's a double kill.
Yeah, pretty stuff. Yeah. Whirling Death helping out with that extra damage onto Owner, who at this point is not very survivable, obviously. On the Wukong early on in this game, you see T1 are like, maybe we could take this Drake. The answer is no, because of the Damwon.
なんかレッドバック持ってないかこのレネクトン。
This is the one place where Damwon actually had to make a big rotation happen in order to force a fight on their terms. They did it. They kept bottom side control. Duckdom used his ult only to join the fight, as you just mentioned. Yeah, he's not ahead in terms of gold very massively, but the prio means that T1 can't cross map. They can't take anything else. So, the rich get richer here, even in small amounts. Damwon Kia starting to add that up to significant gold lead here, over 2,000. And T1 won't be able to get anything back here without a fight. And it's so difficult to fight into the composition of Damwon Kia, as we've talked about. They've kind of drafted the anti-T1 comp here in terms of hard engage for T1 trying to
ボット側いるの分かってます。
AoE. Not gonna be
さあ、ゼウスも見せなあかんで。 マジで。打ち壊し持ってるからこれ下がったらタワープレートまた持ってかれるんだよね。 いや、今の細かいプレーですけど、今これ、ウーコン探してるんですよね、これ。ギフトヘラルドあるから、ウーコン探してるんですよ。ウーコンが映っで、ノグリもこれ探してるんですよね、ウーコンを。これ。フルグ見て、あ、ウーコンボット。1v1。フルがあるの分かってるんで、ウーコンカバー来るの分かってる。無理しないと思うんですけどね。ウーコン来てるの分かってるわ。無理しない。で、ウーコン、プレイヤーブルームにスインが叩いたんで移りましたね。
And I mean, it's basic, it's easy, it's simple what Damwon Kia is doing this game, but it's working. And you know, I really like this draft, but more so I
で、
really
ウー
like
コン
how
ト
the
ップ
players
なん
are
で、
playing. Like they're decisive,
ド
they're
ラゴン
not
取っ
making
て、
errors, it's like the nerves are gone.
ヘラルドも
And we usually don't see a
ボッ
big
トに
team
出せる。
like this with just one sub in.
はい。
But it's Nuggery. He's
あ
got so much experience under his belt, you know, and Birdall has spent most of the season on the bench. Yeah, it's like Nuggery just comes in with the keys to the
行くしかねえぞ、オーナー。
you know?
あー、ノグリ耐えれるか？何無理です。と思いきや、なんと、フラッシュ落ちた。ミニオンも全部処理した。
See what we can get done here. Cross map though is what the bottom side is saying. Canyon drops down this Rift Herald, and that's going to be first turret and the extra plates here going over to the side of Damwon Kia. Ult coming through here defensively as well. Get some money back just a little bit. There's that first turret. And I mean, this is unfortunately no farm for Callista. And yeah, Renekton will lose some, but this is way better for Damwon Kia despite that pick. And he almost trades it back. Extra charge too, man. Yeah, this is like if you took nameplates away, like, you know, is this T1?
Yeah, how did they get blue side? But yeah, Canyon might have overextended here, going to be spotted by Keria. Denied on that one, as now the follow-up is going to be denied. In fact, no bandits toss. Faker still trying to press the issue, but it's pretty much alone at this point in time. You see that even Damwon just taking the safe play. You know, they got the second charge, so they don't overstay, and they don't get caught by the rotation from T1.
And look at where everybody is on the map. Faker is not in lane, so the call is really easy.
これ影響力ないっつっても、トップが勝つとこんだけ他サイドが楽なんだよね。
Owner is top side and Faker is missing, but he's not going to be able to defend as Lissandra that Herald drop bottom side. He'll actually put himself at risk of further getting dove upon.
抜くドレイブンですよ。
They just instantly know what to do. The response is super quick. It's been a good game from Canyon so far. The speed at which she clears too, Morgana, is going to give him pretty significant CS lead here as well. Over Owner has spent a lot of time trying to make
あ、
impact.
T1 どうしますか？
Cleanse for Duckdom and a Braum.
14分まで我慢しろ、ドッタム。
But when you're in this position, you gotta try to look for angles with the comp that T1.
マジで10、よしよし。 これで新 TP になってから、これでドッタムに仕掛けてきても、レネクが先に TP してくることが確定するんで。ちゃんと14分まで粘ったね。
Especially with Rift Herald spawning, you want to make those plays at this exact timing, but they already even had the Swain rotating over Damwon Kia did. Faker goes mid, and they identify this, put him back down there, catch that wave, and they will be able to start this one up first. They have way much more control right now. They have the better items. Like, Swain went Ludens this game because it's not the Imperial Mandate angle here with the AD carry they have chosen. It's more just an anti-T1 style of comp here, and he's just going to have extra damage, extra harass in the side lane, and just straight up 5v5 fights. So this is kind of an awkward situation for T1. They're trying to make the most of cross map, and this is exactly what T1 does best. We talked about it, especially in game one. Like, hey, you guys got an objective, but we got something greater. This time around, not so much the case, as Duckdom is going to have to push on the top side here. They have it's a trade of turrets plus second Rift Herald going down. Well, that's assuming this turret does go down, but I think there's a pretty good chance. And all the while, you know, T1 here still not catching up in the farm for their bottom laner. And I think that for T1, the way they come back in this game is really just going to be a straight up good 5v5 fight with their hard engage that they have in this composition.
Yeah.
But
これはミッドタワーも見据えてるね、ダム。
In terms of taking a fight, you know, the goal difference isn't that large at the moment, but we have at least one item for every member of Dalmonkia plus a couple of extra stop.
ゼウス今のでだいぶ負け分取り戻せたんで、ゼウスもここ勝負ですね。11レベ、8ロックスの一応強い時間帯です。
This is the moment on this next Drake, potentially. Showmaker, like I said, with this build, he can actually compete in a side lane against the Lissandra. It's the Imperial Mandate, much more difficult to do so. And setting up for Imperial Mandate for Draven, this is not that kind of game. It's not about how many hits the Draven can do with extra damage. It's more about just doing the damage yourself with your ult. Having that extra AP going to be nice. Nuggery, safe, but safe enough is the question.
Oh. Looks like, okay, they are going to find him, but no follow-up here as Swain even going to help out from range, and the rest of the team trying to make their way down bottom side, looking for a potential teleport into this bottom wave. As Faker's just, you know, minding his business, pushing top. He's like, good distract, guys. It's just
LPL ですか。
I mean, he has teleport, so he's really at no risk.
LPL は JDG ですね。
Break up necessarily. He will give up the prio for this, but it's going to be money into his pockets. We did see the commitment of Showmaker to come down bottom side. Dalmonkia better be able to get this, or the trade will not be a trade.
JDG と EDG。
As here comes Faker from the flank.
He's got a really nice position, but this teleport should be spotted. Will it be spotted on time? Faker's getting in there. They're looking for the wombo. They get into that back line, and they're going to decimate the Draven once again as the Swain survives through a long period of time. And Nuggery is so huge in this fight, but he cannot get on top of the Callista. And T1, they do it again, this time from behind. They're able to sweep up Dalmonkia.
何その綺麗なエンゲージ。
Just one ward teleport coming from Faker, and they are able to not only get top turret, but top
高すぎなんですけど。
mid
プレイでもう一回見
turret
せ
and
てく
a
れ。
team fight win. 4 members of Dalmonkia falling flat on their faces here, and all the lead they had, all the advantages they had, the smooth sailing we were talking about, it all comes crashing down. Is one flank angle from Faker. He makes the play, and they just didn't know that he was coming from that side. They had a control ward put up as he was engaging with Claw. It was too late.
Consolation prize, chance? No, not even that. Oh. 2 teleports used for Dalmonkia. They're trying to get tempo on the map, trying to look for something here with the river.
プレイで見せてくんないのか。
From Faker. They're going into his pockets. We did see the commitment of Showmaker to come down bottom side. Dalmonkia better be able to get this, or the trade will not be a trade. In fact, it'll just be a
バック
robbery.
TP だよね。
As here comes Faker from the
バッ
flank.
ク TP 来て、使って、アリスタでアムも回収してプラス進化。
The Draven once again as the Swain survives through a long period of time, and Nuggery is so huge in this fight, but he cannot get on top of the.
しすぎる。
From Faker, he makes the play, and they just didn't know that he was coming from that side. They had a control ward put up as he was engaging with Claw. It was too late.
Consolation prize, chance? No, not even that. Oh. 2 teleports used for Dalmonkia. They're trying to get tempo on the map, trying to look for something here with the Rift Heralds. They might be able to get something, but you know, it is a huge swing in favor.
EDG はバイパーがうますぎるんで。
Trying to set up for this push in mid. It looks like they will get this mid turret at least.
Yep, it's going to be a second charge here.
まあゲームメイクもうまいですけど。
So that's something for your troubles. Dalmonkia still maintaining a small gold lead here. They're going to try to force the whole turret down. And even with the Lissandra flank angle here, it looks like Faker just got his ult up. Not happy to engage there. Not going to actually try to force a second fight on T1's terms. So
で、JDG もゲームメイクがうまい。
Yeah, they do get that. It does feel like a little bit larger than just a small consolation prize, but it was just really nicely timed, you know, keeping the tempo on the map, because T1 kind of had to, after the push, go back, buy their items, be back on the map, which they couldn't quite do on time. But this fight was just insane.
なんか EDG がなんか普通に勝つような気もするんだけど、JDG が最大の関門じゃないですかね。
stopwatch usage. You mentioned the stopwatch advantage Damwon Kia had, but you're just buying time for the inevitable. Unfortunately, as Nuguri does
ジャッキーラブやるときやるから、もう LPL はどこが勝っても分かんないけどね。もう賞味。
with both these comps, just like game 2. You know, if the fight is going longer, it goes longer in favor of whoever won the first 2 seconds of it. Basically, each and every.
下からでも登ってくるチームってメタの適応めっちゃ早いんですよ。上で待ってるチームってそのメタを読み間違えるんじゃないけど、そういうことが起きると RNG みたいにポンって負けるんですよね。昔からの LPL の特徴で。結構下から登ってくるのって実はなんか LPL って有利というか差がないからメタの適用の速さで下から登ってくるチームが意外とサクって勝つんです。ジャッキーもやばいっすけどね。いやもうだから LPL はね予想するだけ無駄なんですよ。どこが優勝してもおかしくないです。turrets that they traded earlier and the Drake and take a 2 Drake lead, which would make you feel less bad about Faker getting the topside turret. But it's not meant to be at this stage. That advantage is now in T1, who does end up grabbing mid turret, grabs the Drake, and all that extra money on a team comp that was otherwise significantly behind in a lot of respects. Now Aatrox is 4 kills. なんか順位がついてるだけですよ。言えるって本当に。これ本当にあと何回やったら同じ順位になりますかって聞かれたら多分ね何回やっても同じ順位にならない領域だと思う。ヨーロッパは G2 が本命ですね。
He's just going to be doing huge amounts of damage as long as he can get into the fight. There is a slight lead in the 80 carry role to Duck Dom, but it's not going to matter.
XL が登ってきたら案外おもれえなと思うんだけどな。案外ありそうなんだよね。ウザーズから登ってきてもおかしくない。
Exactly, and that's what the flanking Lissandra will get you. Plus the really nice engage from owner there on the Cyclone, and I do want to see what happens if we see a fight where T1
キムコーチ。
force their way through a choke point. I do want to see what happens.
あの人はいろんなチーム優勝に導いてるから。
Which gives Damwon some collapse potential. Like there are ways this does not just go default T1. And clearing vision is step number 1, so that those teleport angles can't happen again. 30 seconds until this next Drake spawn, but Faker's already got a look. He's trying to find an angle here in the Drake pit.
Oh, they know he's there though.
勝った。
You know he's there this time, but Ghost to use, and he's got his happy feet going here a little bit.
フラッシュ温存した。
Isolated, nice amount of damage to him. There's the stopwatch now, as then he will go down.
Yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. If you can find him, you turn on him, you kill him, and then suddenly a flank gets turned against you. As T1 look like they might try to make this a trade of objectives with the clear here mid. Damwon Kia should be very aware of this, but these Drakes have more health now. The Drake is going to take so long to take down. T1 though, they're walking into this control ward. I don't think it's realistic to try to take this one, and they will back away. Damwon Kia, one turn onto the flanking Faker, and it's a totally different story. We don't get to see a follow-up fight, and as T1 without your Lissandra engage, despite she almost by
やばい、フェイカーこれゾニャが遠すぎてやばいっす。
And it's crazy how both these games 2 and 3.
Zeus is like, fight me, you won't. And okay, oh, looks like he just barely got out of that one. Yeah, TP does come in. Nuguri in a rough spot here. Does have teleport himself as Faker gets over the wall, and that will be a kill secured here for now. The 5-0 Aatrox. That is Zeus. I don't know if they're going to be able to roll this in too much. A lot of pings though towards the Baron, and now a teleport used. Looks like they want to make a move.
バロンプレッシャーでコントロールするんだ T1。うお、痛い。いや。いった。おお、ふざ。
some money in your pocket.
ふざけんじゃねえぞマジで。
Gonna be a kill onto the 80 carry, and just like that, one ward over the wall, Morgana gets a binding, put that black pool on the 80 carry, and then from a million miles away, Duckdom snipes him. Who says Draven's not long range?
Yeah, well, we do have teleport coming on in. Owner is still here. And he is behind the pit looking for it now, as we do have double smite here for the side of Dominus. Faker gets in and gets blown up immediately, and Zeus is like, well, I gotta get out now.
Duckdom gets black shielded here. There's no Aatrox angle for him. This should be the Baron.
Owner does get in, and nope, it's gonna go the way of Damwon Kia, as one by one, the dominoes do fall here. Another kill into the hands of Duckdom. They pick up the Baron, and Damwon Kia now 6,000 gold ahead.
Damwon Kia is so good at punishing Faker in these moments. So this is just one control ward. Insane value. Blackpool binding and the Swain poke from his birds coming through. Whirling Dervish comes through, takes him out. And then watch this, as soon as claws down.
グマイシの顔見たいからちょっと負け戻していいですか。グマイシの顔見よう。逃した。右下ね、右下。
That's Morgana for you. You end up getting a stun.
Oh!
There's some money in your pocket.
呆れてるじゃん、半分。
Gonna get a cash in
半
here.
分呆れてるじゃん。
Gonna be a kill.
あーみたいな。
Broke stopwatch in that last attempt to kill her. She died anyways, doesn't have it this time, so can't buy time. Owner with a nice attempt here, but T1 giving up 2 kills and the Baron. It looked like it was theirs by default, but just one play from the Morgana. That's all you need. Agent Canyon 007 now. Secret Agent making this game viable for this team. And I mean, now with Baron buff on the cards here for Damwon Kia, let's see how many advantages they get with it, because you and I were very critical of what they did with it against KT Rolster. Small edge for them now. Gold lead, massive. Let's see if they can get some deep vision here, take some permanent structures off of the map.
Yeah, should be able to get this top inner. Doesn't look like T1 are putting up much of a defense on this. So this will be pretty free. Should continue in towards the inhibitor, and when you get a couple of team comps that are very fiery, they love to fight, they love to skirmish into each other, and one of them gets a big lead like this, you know, again, unless Duckdom dies immediately, I think T1 are going to struggle when it does come to this fight, especially because they have heal deny for the Aatrox, so it's going to be much more difficult for him to go, you know, 1v9 in some of these fights. As the push will continue, Faker's got a little bit of an angle, and it will scare off Damwon Kia enough to push them back for now.
Not anyone in a side lane. You know, it's just a 5-man push top here. Nobody bottom, nobody mid. So T1 group up similarly and burn the clock. They run the clock out super hard on that Baron buff, and there's no pressure on the map. In fact, just a naturally pushing bottom lane here is free farm.
やっぱサッシュのエンパー上がったことでサッシュの選択肢増えてんのいいな。でも MR 上がってるそうってなってもマジでいい。何今までのサッシュが弱かったか。
What they do gain is the line of wards they're trying to now set up here. They have, of course, on the top side of the map near Baron Pit. Now they're using that push to control the third.
たったの MR30 か。ふん、ゴミ目。
Cloud Soul. You know, again, pretty impactful, honestly, for both of these compositions with how low range and how all in they both are on engage.
Yeah. Huge zoom in here from Jonah Strong. Really trying to point out that a lot of what Damwon have got.
楽しいシューティングゲームが始まるモルガナの。
Yeah, and also, you know, Morgana's siege is pretty insane. She can clear those waves with Leandri's very fast, and even if she hits, you know, 1 or 2 black pools onto a champion in the mid lane while she's just pushing and sieging, their health goes down low enough.
これインヒビターシージはね、難しいんすよね、ダムは。
One binding hits, like you say, and that's actually the call to go.
相手がエンゲージ強いから、それ分連近いし。エンゲージされた場合、負けちゃう可能性があるんですよね、こんだけお金有利でも。でもう負けたら終わりだから、バロン取るまでインヒビターシージし、単戦で勝つとか。
over Owner, 2,600 gold ahead, and is an actual carry, not just an engage button that Owner is unfortunately going to be relegated to in this game. One that can be shut down by a binding, shut down by a Zonias. 2 players have Zonias, 2 players have stopwatch, so 4 on the side of Dom1 Kia here. Plus, they have, of course, the Quicksilver Sash for Duckdom. So, feels very difficult for T1 to
ハ
actually
イパーとスカウト見間違える
is what they're going to need is the perfect angle. The perfect
LCK 見てるから LPL の話されても困る。困るんだけど。すぐに顔チェックできんよね。
I think that it really is going to be up to Faker when it does come down to that as well, because, you know, besides that, unless Owner gets a really sick kind of like stealth submarine engage into that backline, even then, it can be difficult to make sure that they get on top of the Draven and kill it 100-0. It does look like we might be waiting for the next Baron, perhaps. I don't think, you know, especially after the KT series, it feels like a lot of our teams here are like, yeah, okay, Cloud Soul, you know, you're no longer friends with Cloud Soul. Certainly not in trades for your base. So, Damaki are getting these Cloud Drakes. It's nice, but it's not going to be
T1
game
ドラゴン
at the end of the day. So, T1, they're pretty much biding their time.
側にワード置い
Have
て
a
るけ
nice
ど、
angle on an important
バロン
objective.
側に置き残しが
Yeah, the Baron, or, you know, an Elder Drake, even if we get, you know, another 9 minutes into this game, which could happen. But, yeah, for now, that's basically why we're just going to chill out and clear some waves and stuff like that.
Nuguri having teleport here is really important because
白
they
口
have vision around Baron and
出るよ。
side lane and push that through, and we'll be able to potentially set up flank angles when they don't know where he is. I like the line of wards that are kind of being panned near here on the minimap. You could see T1 have for a Renekton collapse. But still, I don't think they want to force a fight here unless they can find a single target. Otherwise, Dom1 Kia just kind of kite back for this Baron that's now spawned. Nuguri doesn't even need to teleport, just comes over here, can leave the fight and come back if it's long.
Faker with the extendo scan, going from mid over into their jungle. Gonna clear out at least the one ward in that brush that was spotting T1. Very important to do that.
T1 also have 4 stopwatches, 3 in the Zonias, or 4 actually plus the Zonias. They have 5. Like, they have the whole team can go into stasis here. The problem is if you don't win the fight right away, like
クラウドバカ強いっす。
and you have to time them and stagger them to where you just win the fight by default, because we might actually have, like, it's just crazy, but we might actually have 8 stasis in this next fight. And it is the one that decides the game, very likely, if Dom1 Kia win it.
Yeah, you know, we could have had 9, but then Duckdom finished his GA, so
what a hater.
Very yeah, I'm not really liking that right now.
Hey, I said 8 stasises, right? If he goes into his
デスダンスじゃなくてコテの違いはベース AD だね。
Technically,
I think so.
I suppose so.
Yeah, I think it is.
You are invulnerable. You can't take damage. You can't do anything during it as well. It's basically the same thing.
You can't be targeted.
Yeah.
All right. This is, like, this whole game is going to be decided on one fight
Not
here.
exactly the same, though, because you can Zhonya's with, like, ult scoring.
ベース AD がある分だけゴールド換算率がいい。
You can do it whenever you want. Like, it's definitely not the same thing. But,
we were so close.
But, like, this lack of confidence here from Dom1 Kia, even though they have a teleport on the Renekton who could be side laning, is not a good look here.
状況によるバーストダメージが相手が高い場合はコテのシールドの方が活かしやすい。DPS が高い場合はデスダンスの方が活かしやすい。対戦相手のダメージシステム
There once again, Faker has to stasis. Owner doesn't get the engage, and Dom1 Kia, they back straight up into that concave.
They can just push. They can just push here and say, you know what? We're gonna actually siege up your base.
コテってシールドが発動してシールドがある間だけじゃないですか、耐久値。このシールドが耐久値高いから耐えるよねって。
Even though this is not necessarily optimal, they're trying to contest.
でデスダンスは逆に全部のダメージを割合カットなんで DPS が高いとカット率はいいよね。継戦能力が高いじゃない。
Not sure about that one, as he's just gonna die.
Not declaring this fight.
Everything was good up until that moment for T1, but now they're just being vacuumed up down the mid lane as Faker is on vision, just trying to clear that wave. And he will dodge everything, but the push is on a bit, as now, no, they're just going to back to the Cloud Drake.
Yep, going to go back to the Cloud Drake. It was very scary for a moment there for both teams as Renekton is insta-popped. Will have his GA now for the next fight, but just isolated and zoned there. T1 so much more decisive than Damwon Kia, but then in Keiria's case, perhaps a little bit too decisive on the return engage. So there isn't a follow-up here. This is the moment Faker teleports in and Ugry's like, oh, my team is not here. He's caught instantly by Keiria's bandage toss. Has to stay immediately, and they are doing Baron. This is T1 doing Baron.
Important. They have no idea. And you see Canyon is moving over right now. We have Duckdom is backing, as now he's going to come over, as they do spot this out. And in fact, they should be able to stop it once Faker... Oh, man.
He doesn't want to flash. Yeah. Okay, he got his claw. That was scary.
So, nice little try from T1, but they don't really have the...
LCK、LBL は4枠です。本戦行くのは3枠。グループステージっていうか、その日本が戦ってる予選からやるのが1枠です。
Now the binding comes in. There's that golden gun. Owner is whirling death away from actual death as Owner, okay, he will be able to walk it out, even though he was on vision. Duckdom not able to land that one.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, they deny the back again of the T1 jungler.
They have these blue trinkets and they're just spotting out the whole jungle here. T1, everything they're trying to do is seeing Kellen can...
いや、バンピックは昔から重要です。多分バンピックの重要性が高いなって思ってるんだ。多分みんなが分かり始めてきてるからですね。チャンピオンの特性を。昔はなんか分かんないまんま、やってる側もさ、得意なピックでとりあえずなんとかしようみたいなのがあったけど。が進んでチャンピオンの特性ちゃんとこうやって生かそうねみたいなのが増えてきたことによって見てる側も理解が高まってるから、それでなんかバンピックって重要だなって思うようになってる。昔からバンピックは重要です。それで半分以上試合が決まるって言われてるんで。わあ。10年に一度の出来。10年に一度の出来はな、デビューだからな、アフリカの2013年なんだよな。10年に一度の出来っつったら、あのデビュー当時よりも上かってことになっちゃうんで。
There's nothing that T1 can really do about this. They can't flank. They don't want to be anywhere near Damwon Kia, but Damwon Kia are closing the distance. Now they're in the base.
Yeah, really trying to set up for this follow-up push into mid. As the binding will sail wide. It looks like
ワインと一緒ですからね。10年に一度の出来は。
By the door and T1 not ready to make the play. They're waiting for their Amumu. And Damwon Kia, very respectable once again. They have Baron buff, but they are not going to get caught out.
T1 just have to bide their time here somehow for 80 seconds. Just, I mean, there's so much siege here, so much poke with these pools.
Okay, Keiria's got to go in now. Faker gets into the back line, but doesn't end up doing it. They're not able to blow up the back line. Guma is hopping it out, a huge cycle.
届かねえ。お、なんだ。キン。ドライブが全部持っていく。
And bring us to 2-1 as Damwon Kia will push to end.
Now Damwon Kia have done it, just a better setup here for fights. They got ahead. Their comp is the anti-T1 composition. Bindings were great from Canyon all game long. Out farms Owner after being gapped by him in the first.
エンゲージ構成すぎたな T1。
Faker unable to use his Zonias in that last engage, in that last fight. Don't know if it would have really mattered because as we said, you have to win it instantly or you don't win it at all. He stasis and comes out and
games is able to absorb on the map to the
It was definitely into the game. Very confident in the call.
That could have been Showmaker.
AP 100%。
Could have happened. I think Showmaker had a great game.